Hey everyone, Destin Legary here with the locations of every piece of intel in Halo 5 Guardians.
There's 117 of these things, so let's get right into it, starting with Mission 1. The first piece of intel is from a Covenant grunt. Once you assume control of Locke, walk past the wrecked ship on the right and scan the intel on the ground. It's right next to a dead grunt. Later, after you've broken through the first ice wall, head straight toward the edge of the path and look to the left. Below you is another ledge with a dead elite and a datapad. About halfway through this area, stick towards the right and jump across ledges. Keep going and you'll see a dead grunt next to a needler. Jump up to the ledge. From here you can see the door and the datapad. After you see the Kraken, follow the path on the left, but stay toward the right edge and drop down. Walk a short distance and you'll see a dead elite and a plasma grenade. Jump up to that ledge and you'll see the datapad. Before entering the door to the next area, jump up to the snowy ledge on the right and walk past the splinter turret. Jump down to a lower ledge just past the turret and you'll see a dead elite next to a datapad. Across from the door is a large window and a datapad on the ground right in front of it. This one's pretty hard to miss. Near the end of the level, after taking out the enemies, jump up to the platform on the right of the exit. You'll see some overturned Covenant gear, a dead elite, and the last intel for the mission. Mission 2. Directly across from the bridge is a control point with flickering screens. Approach it and activate the station log. In the area where you fight some enemies, walk just past to the weapons rack to find another control point with green flickering screens. Activate the station log to collect the intel. Before moving on to the control center, walk to the narrow brown area and take an immediate right when you see a body on the ground. Climb up the scaffolding and structures about 3 levels and you'll end up on a large platform. Here you'll see a lone datapad on the platform. The second dark area where you fight a bunch of Covenant is known as Level 3. Before leaving Level 3's room, walk to the left side of the room and jump behind the mess of gray boxes to reveal a short vent pathway. Crouch, walk in, and you'll find a datapad. Once you see the Covenant exiting slip space in the large windowed room, you'll see a control panel with green screens right as you enter the next room. Activate it to collect the next intel. Just past the elevator in the Hunter room is a datapad next to a human corpse. You can see it as you descend. Your next piece of intel is just to the left of 4 cylindrical containers right when you enter the big room. There are some orange lights near it that make it easy to find. While running to the hangar, the second long chamber with windows will have another control point and the final activity log of the ship. You'll know you're in the right place when you walk through a door that's half open. Console will be right in front of you. Mission 3. The first one is when you see the massive closed door. Immediately go right and jump over all the bridges and bars. Walk over to the crates in the back of this area to find the datapad. Once you exit the massive door, just to the left are storage crates covered in tarps. Head over to the bundle that's closest to the stairs that lead to the side of the cliff. The building next to the security building, called Unit 1, hosts the next datapad. The datapad is sitting on the arm of a chair by a console. Moving forward, after the Pelican flies over, there will be a split in your path. Go right just a little and stop when you see a burning ship. Behind a container in front of the ship is a radio. Once you hit the bridge and the closed door, there is a small work area on the left. A few of the Meridian soldiers are standing by it. Walk over there, and on the desk around the corner is another piece of intel. The 6th piece of intel is behind the Scorpion you get a little bit later. Just go around it and collect the datapad. Mission 4. Right at the beginning, walk up the hill and make an immediate right at the top. Keep walking and you'll see a datapad on a yellow container near the fence. After crossing the main gate to town, take a left and walk up the ramp to the landing pad. Take an immediate left once you're up the ramp and you'll find a datapad on a container next to the construction vehicle. Just past Unit 14, the one with the orange sign, you'll see a vending machine. Next to the vending machine is the next datapad. The supplies building, across from Unit 14 with the orange sign, has a datapad sitting on top. It's by some black and white crates. Between the supplies building sign and the food station sign is another datapad. If you climb to the top of the medical unit, there's another datapad on a black and white crate on the tarped side of the roof. If you go to the very back right corner of this area, a datapad is going to be sitting on a container with some scrap metal. The last piece of intel is on the highest tower of the station. Climb up the side of the food station, past the 2 miners, and jump on top of the tower to get the final datapad. Mission 5. The first intel is just to the left of where you spawn near the yellow-orange container with the Leon Dortmund logo on the side. The second intel is in the room before you go into the mining area. It'll be by the lockers on the right-hand side of the room before you enter combat. The third intel is located shortly after your first encounter with enemies. It's up the stairs and to the right of the second building you enter. The fourth intel is on top of Blue Team's Pelican. Go to the back of the ship, climb up the jets, and it'll be on the back part of the Pelican. The fifth intel is located after you discover Blue Team's Pelican and proceed through the door that's opened by the governor. You'll come to an open area with snipers. On the left is a small building where you can smash through a wall and find the data pad. The sixth piece of intel is located to the right after you head into the mines. You'll see some pipes that run towards the lava area. Jump up to the right platform and grab a radio. The seventh piece of intel is found before jumping down towards the Forerunner installation. Head up to the platform on the left. There you'll see a data pad and the final piece of intel. Mission 6. The first piece of intel is just before heading into the building. You'll see a structure on the right-hand side. Climb to the top and find the intel. After you clear the security door and the governor lets you in, you'll find an intel radio to the left-hand side. Simply press the button to ride the small lift to the top and grab it before moving on. On the right-hand side of the same large room, you'll find another piece of intel on top of the gear and boxes piled up on that side. Once you reach the mine shaft, you'll find a locker room with some ammo in it. Smash through the vents to grab the intel. As soon as you enter the mine shaft, climb up about one level and you'll see a data pad near the back middle of the structure near a yellow hat. The sixth intel is found while climbing the collapsing scaffolding near the top. It's on the ledge near the front of the structure by a yellow hat. Mission 7. When walking towards the waypoint on the main planet, hug the left-hand wall. Eventually you should see a puddle of water and the left path. Follow it until you find a little ridge with a dead grunt on it. When you encounter the first group of Covenant near a crashed ship, you'll find a piece of intel on the ridge on the right. There's also a skull if you follow that corridor back towards the beginning of the game. From the crashed alien ship, follow the right-hand wall and climb the rocks to the right. You will find a small dark hole and a ledge you need to climb up into. Inside there is a marine, a few weapons, and a data pad. Just before entering the Forerunner facility, you'll see two Covenant on turrets. Below them, you'll find the third piece of intel, aka a Forerunner console. The next piece of intel is after the light bridge just before your first encounter with the Forerunners. It is to the left on a small pathway. You'll see a waterfall flowing into a hole. It's the cylindrical object that you can access there. After the warden talks to you about the concept of home, you'll proceed down a rocky trenchway. If you stick to the middle path, you'll come to a large hole. Just on the edge of it, you'll find the next Forerunner console. When you talk to Cortana for the first time, she'll activate a light bridge for you. Once she does, the terminal is just on the other side behind a piece of cover. Mission 8, we're halfway there. When you first spawn in the level, jump up the rocks on your right and head over to the structure that's built into the cliffside. You'll find an artifact at the top of the steps. Moving forward, as you walk through the river, walk over to the ruins just before the river enters the more enclosed area. Go all the way to the back left and the activity log will be hiding under a rock by a dead elite. After you defeat the enemies in the next area, jump down into the waterfall. There's a small cavern with another sword. When you see the shade turret, look to the right. There's a data pad in a little cave next to a dead elite. After you pass the dead Sword of Shangelios elite, walk just a little further and activate the Artemis system once you jump up the rocks in your path. The next data pad is up on the large rock. On the left path, just before 2 energy shields and a plasma cannon, is an area where you can drop down to a dead elite. Next to him is a data pad. On the right path, there's a sword high up on a rock about 2/3 of the way up the hill. It can be accessed by climbing a fallen pillar, jumping to the pillar next to it, then onto the rock. After you walk through the ruins and spot the Covenant reinforcements, turn left at the ruins cliffside and walk around a pillar to find a Covenant data pad. When you get to the bridge that's broken in half in the middle, jump across and look behind you. You'll see a data pad on the ground. You can either try and jump across and make it, or go back and break through the ground to get here. After you get the Mantis, there will be a dismembered statue on the right across from a crashed ship. Get out of the Mantis and climb the statue on the right. Once you manage to get up here, you should be able to grab the data pad. When you get to the big firefight at the end, run to the back left side of the firefight and you'll see a giant hole in the wall. Jump up to and through it and then walk down the hallway. The data pad will be sitting on a sculpture in the circular room. Finally, near the end of the level, jump up to the second level of the right-hand side of the map and enter the water area that's just to the right of the gate. Here you'll find another datapad. Mission 9. When you take control of Locke, turn around and climb the rocks to the stone archway. A Shangeli datapad is on the ground by some boxes. After spawning, walk forward towards the camp and climb the rocks on the left where you see your first elite. Cross the stone bridge to the right and enter the tunnel directly ahead of you. About halfway through the tunnel, you'll find a datapad. From the stone bridge before, walk forward until you get to a makeshift medical area. You'll see a datapad lying on a large pillar in the ruins. By that stone bridge, there are some grunts huddled around the fire where you first entered the camp. If you go to the right of them, you'll see a grunt sitting by himself on a stone. Jump across to the pillar more towards the center of the camp and walk to the ledge where there's a datapad. Behind Dr. Halsey is a shallow cave with a few Shangeli boxes and equipment. Sitting on one of the boxes is a datapad. Moving towards Palmer from Halsey, climb the rock formation on the right by the lone elite. Climb up the pillar that's collapsed against the side of a cliff and jump across to the standing pillar to grab the datapad. By Palmer, there's a datapad on the ground by a crate to the left of Palmer's Pelican. And if you climb up the ruins to the right of Palmer's Pelican, a datapad is just on the edge of the ruins by some purple crates. Mission 10. The first artifact or intel is by the waterfalls. Once you see your first waterfall, follow the water to the left. You'll see it at the bottom of the ravine off to the side. As soon as you encounter a set of grunts, you'll find an artifact to the left of their location sitting by some rocks. As soon as you emerge from the narrow pathway and encounter a few elites and grunts, you'll find the next piece of intel up on a ridge to the left where you first see the Kraken. In the area where you take down the first shield generator, you can find a datapad on the far right of the wide open area. It's in a small room before you proceed past the shield generator's location. After the Kraken team is forced to regroup, you'll have to take out a few more grunts. You'll find a datapad on the far left of the level, just through a doorway where some suicide grunts will come at you. As you move forward, you'll come to an area where you'll see a few rock formations in the middle of the level. On top of one of them, you'll find the next piece of intel. When you reach the next area with a force field, it'll be wide open. Grab the next intel on the far right on top of a ridge with some jackals at the bottom of it. Continue following the right-hand wall and move forward. Once you emerge into an area with some turrets to the right, you'll find the next piece of intel. Once you get past the turrets, head under the bridge and break through a wall. Right on the other side, you'll find the next piece of intel. The final piece of intel is found after you destroy the Kraken. Before moving on, you'll see a Forerunner platform. Land on it and scan the Forerunner console to find the next collectible. Mission 11. As soon as you spawn, turn around and look by the boxes on the cliff. The datapad will be lying near them. Moving forward towards Palmer a little bit, you see a broken down structure. The next datapad is on the crumbling tower. Behind Palmer's location, you'll see a small round purple structure. The next piece of data is located inside. From the last datapad, turn around and run up a small rocky path behind the purple structure. At the top of the ridge, on a concrete ledge, you'll find the next piece of intel. The final piece of intel is located past Palmer above the 3 circular purple structures. Climb them and make your way to the rocky ledge where you'll find the next datapad. Mission 12. The first piece of intel is directly to the left of where you spawn. It's on top of a pillar. To grab it, run towards the first turret and then run along the ridge and jump over to this piece of intel. The next piece of intel is located from the second turret in the building on your left. It'll be in a small room downstairs. After you take out the turrets, you're going to come to a multi-platform area with large purple saucers, elites, grunts, and jackals. If you head to the far left and break through the doorway there and head through the room, you'll find a datapad on the other side. It's on top of the building. Moving forward on the saucers, you'll find another datapad on the right-hand side and a saucer out by itself. To the right of where you encounter the hunters, inside of a small purple structure, you'll find the next datapad. As soon as you come out of the elevator, go to the right-hand side of where all the action took place. You'll find a dead Covenant and a sword. That's your next intel. After the Guardian causes the walkway to crumble, you'll find yourself in a Covenant building. The next datapad is on the top floor to the left. Just a little bit forward from this location, you'll almost be at the Arbiter. Before you go there, climb up to the left where you'll find a blade and the final piece of intel. Mission 13. The first piece of intel is to the left of where you get the tank. It's by a dead elite. Before going through the Forerunner security gate, keep to the left of the level and look for a grunt next to a special weapon. He will be by the small outlook before the spot where you can climb up the rocks on the left-hand side. The next piece of intel is just before the Forerunner security gate up on the ridge on the left. Just climb the rocks to get there. After you enter the Forerunner security gate, you'll see a crashed Pelican on the left. The datapad is on top of it. When you first encounter a large amount of knights and a few tanks, you'll see a Forerunner platform on the left. On it, you'll find a Forerunner console. On the right-hand side from this location, across from the Forerunner bridge, you'll see a set of rocks that almost look like stairs. Climb them to find a broken constructor on top and your next piece of intel. After you encounter a bunch of knights, you'll have to jump up onto a ridge and grab a datapad next to a Spartan laser. After the encounter with the Warden Eternal, you'll find a datapad on the ledge on the far left. On the right-hand side of the same area, you'll find a Forerunner platform. There's a dead Marine there and a datapad. After the encounter with 3 of the Warden Eternal, you'll find another datapad object on the left-hand side of the level. Mission 14. As soon as you start, turn around and you'll find it on the left-hand side of the doorway you enter from. There's another piece of intel on the right-hand side of the same door. As you make your way forward, if you stick to the middle, you'll eventually go under a bridge. Once you come out the other side, you will see a piece of intel. After going to the top of the platform and seeing the Warden spawn, walk straight forward. You'll find a terminal on the bottom platform in the middle of the map. The final piece of intel is at the very top platform. Finally, Mission 15. We're almost there. The first Forerunner console is on the ramp to the left of the exit. The second Forerunner console is on the ramp to the right of the exit. Once you get to the area where Covenant and Forerunners are fighting, there's a datapad at the top of the level next to a dead elite. By Alpha Core to the left, there is a crashed Phantom. There's a datapad in the rubble. By Gamma Core, there is a crashed UNSC Pelican. Climb the snow and you'll find a datapad next to a dead soldier. On the other side of the Pelican is the skull. In the middle of the map, you'll fight some ghosts and see some Covenant turrets up on a ledge. You'll find a piece of intel up on the snowy ridge towards the direction where you entered. Again, in the middle of the map, you'll fight some ghosts and see some Covenant turrets up on a ledge. You'll find a piece of intel up on the snowy ridge to the northwest of the Covenant structure. From the middle of the map, look towards where Epsilon Core is. You'll see a dark, snowy ridge that you can climb up. If you approach Epsilon Core from Alpha Core and take the dark tunnel path on the right when moving towards it, a datapad is on the ground next to a ghost. Behind Epsilon Core and just next to the cliff is a small dark snow cave with a mantis in it. Walk just past the mantis and pick up the datapad for your next piece of intel.
And that's all of them. Did you find anything interesting during your playthrough of Halo 5? Let us know about it in the comments below, and for more on Halo, you're already in the right place. IGN.